Well, we're going to get more analysis on this story now. We're joined by Dr. David King, who is the Higdon Professor in the Department of Management at Florida State University's College of Business. Thank you very much for speaking to us on France 24.
It's my
Now,
pleasure.
we've just heard from Donald Trump, who said he doesn't want to get involved in all of this. He seemed to blur his allegiances. What do you make of that?
I think he wants the market to decide what happens. And currently, the stock market is right below the Netflix offer of 27.75 per share, which suggests that the market prefers that deal versus the $30 bid from Paramount, or the stock price would have gone up to what would be a higher bid for the total company.
And so, do you think fears of conflict of interest are justified here?
Uh, I mean, there's obvious concerns, but the stock market will likely be the decider. It'll be reviewed by the Department of Justice underneath the Trump administration, but it should be without without problem, even though there are concerns. People will watch it, and the right thing will happen.
Is it possible for anyone to kind of oppose this takeover bid by Paramount or even by Netflix?
Yes, yeah, other companies can protest the deal through the Department of Justice. Uh, Previous mergers in the telecom industry, AT&T trying to acquire T-Mobile was uh, stopped. Sprint acquisition of T-Mobile was stopped. I mean, so there is precedent where deals by either Paramount or Netflix could be disrupted based on President Trump's comments that you showed. The concern is over the market share. Right now, there's 300 million subscribers at Netflix and about 100 million at HBO Max. But there's going to be overlap between those. So what remains to be seen is the amount of overlap and whether or not Netflix market share will actually increase. But the real gain is it's probably better able to use the resources that they would gain by acquiring HBO than Paramount would be.
And before we get into more talk about market share and the concentration in this sector, Donald Trump has been known for taking aim at any media company that opposes him or gives him bad press. Do you see this element coming into this story at all?
The Wall Street Journal has reported that President Trump has asked or is interested in CNN getting new ownership. Uh, the Netflix deal would spin off CNN, and it would be included in the Paramount deal. What spun off from Warner Brothers, the cable television, the broadcast television, and CNN could be acquired by Paramount separately, even if Netflix acquires the Warner Brothers portion that it's a bid for.
And as an analyst, do you feel like there's any political overstep in this story?
Before he was president, President Trump was a businessman, and he's expressed interest in American businesses. It's unusual by historical standards, but not unusual under the current administration.
And if Paramount does successfully take over Warner Brothers Discovery, what would the implications be for the news media landscape in the US?
It, the news media would be separated from Netflix's bid, so there would be no impact. If Paramount purchases it, it would include uh, s- the CBS channels and CNN. Uh, and some other news channels. There likely be a consolidation of some of that. It's hard to speculate on, because even if those Paramount was to purchase that, the Department of Justice could still require some remedies where some of those assets would be divested. I mean, so if Netflix purchased Warner Brothers, there would be no impact on the news media. If Paramount did, the impact would be unknown.
And if Netflix took over Warner Brothers more broadly, what could this mean for streaming platforms and concentration in this sector?
It would currently has about 30% market share based just on streaming, but there's other content providers like YouTube and TikTok that would uh, dilute that. So it really depends on how you define the market. And as I mentioned previously, it also matters the number of subscribers that overlap between Netflix and HBO. One of the ways that they could handle that and maintain kind of some separation is to add HBO as a tier to the Netflix subscription. And since they'd be able to reduce costs, the impact to consumers is likely the cost of a Netflix and HBO. If Netflix acquires Warner Brothers, would be lower than what it is to have it separately currently.
All right, Dr. David King from Florida State University's College of Business, thank you very much for your analysis.